300 years ago, the station ARK-9 vanished during an experiment meant to push beyond the borders of known space. In official reports, it was labeled as a catastrophic systems failure. In unofficial stories, it became the first station to step outside of time. Since then, it was mentioned only by students during exams and by old engineers in bars whenever the conversation turned to things humanity should never have touched. But one night, a short, interference-ridden signal reached the remote monitoring desk. Probably more. The algorithm was about to flag it as noise when the status line shifted. Signature recognition match found. Object: ARK-9. The operator straightened. Suddenly, the room felt much smaller. Then the message appeared. ARK-9. Crew alive. Request docking. He checked the coordinates. They pointed to array lost. No object present. If this was a prank, it was an impossibly expensive one. If not, then someone had returned from a place where time ceased to be a straight line. 12 hours later, the reconnaissance vessel Helix was already en route to the coordinates. Crew of 3. Commander Ray, Navigator Liao, and Engineer Cram. Let us go through it again, Liao said, waving sleep away. How much time has passed for us? 302 years since ARK-9's last signal, Ray replied. And for them? Ray shrugged. If the temporal anomaly theory holds, maybe a few hours. Maybe minutes. Cram chuckled. Or they vaporized 3 centuries ago. And the cord just spat out an old message packet. We'll see when we get there, Ray said quietly. Through the viewport, the silhouette of the station slowly emerged. At first a faint outline, like a ghost against the stars. Then the hull details. Antennas. Ring modules. It was intact. Not ASHR. Clean hull signature, Cram reported. No visible damage. That's impossible, Liao whispered. Even if it drifted here for 300 years, micrometeoroids would have eaten it alive. The station rotated gently, aligning its docking port with their trajectory, as if welcoming them. Docking was so smooth it felt rehearsed. Autodock matched our ship parameters, Cram muttered. But this station SHOULDNT even have our docking protocol. Don T asked extra questions, Ray said. Ray already breaking enough rules. The hatch opened with an old fast. A wave of clean, cool air met them. No mold, no burnt circuits, just atmosphere, oxygen, nitrogen. Go to normal levels, Liao confirmed. Like a functioning station. As if someone changed the filters yesterday, Cram added. S flickered on, not all at once, but gradually. One strip deep in the corridor. Another. A whole sequence. The station was illuminating itself as they walked in. Feels like it has been waiting for us, Liao said, her voice too loud in the silence. Or someone never turned the lights off, Ray replied. We head to the central module. No improvisation. They stepped inside. The corridors were too clean, too seamless. On the walls a faded mission logo, a stylized ARK and the words ARK-9. Mission at the edge. Below it a list of crew names. Liao stopped. She traced one of the names with her fingers. What is it? Cram asked. She had the same last name as my GR. Ray noted it silently, but said nothing. Their footsteps echoed faintly. Sometimes, the echo returned with a delay, as if the corridor was longer than it looked. Once, the shadow from their flashlight fell in the wrong direction. The beam pointed forward. The shadow slid sideways. Did you hear that? Ray raised a hand. They froze. Far ahead, at the edge of hearing, someone whispered. Liao. Just one word, yet enough to freeze the blood. You heard that? Right. Cram whispered. No, Liao said too quickly. Just your IMAGina T. Later, audio logs would show an extra track. A soft whisper, almost in Liao's own voice. Don T, go further. They reached the central chamber. But it was no longer the command deck described in old schematics. A massive quantum core hung suspended in ring-shaped frames, glowing with a slow, rhythmic pulse. The floor vibrated faintly beneath their feet, next to the core. A message icon was blinking. It looked modern, part of a standardized interface. Protocol Generation 32. Leah said. Same as ours. But ARK-9 disappeared when Generation 1 existed. Ray replied. Ray touched the panel. The screen turned on. A static frame appeared. 3 people sat in the same chamber, at the same console. Ray, Liao, Cram, but older, worn out, changed. Well, the older Ray said, if you are watching this, the loop has not fully closed again. We still have a chance. Cram let out a short, nervous breath. Great. We're sending messages to ourselves now. Quiet, Ray said. His voice trembled slightly. The older Ray spoke with calm forged by years spent in a natural time. ARK-9 isn't just a station. It's an anchor inside a nonlinear domain. Every time you dock, you start a new turn of the loop. At first, you only find our recordings. Later you meet us. Later still you take our place. Older Liao leaned closer to the camera. We tried everything. In one cycle, we never entered the station, waited on Helix and left as soon as we saw ARK-9. Older Cram added. In another, we tried destroying the core. In a third, we attempted to ride the anomaly outward. Every time, Leah said bitterly, we thought we chose differently. But eventually, we always ended up here recording this message. Older Ray looked straight ahead. If you believe you have free will, that may simply be part of the loop's design. The image flickered and vanished. Leah stepped back from the dark screen. I do not want to know how it ended for them, she said quietly. For us. Cram corrected her. If we believe what they said, believe it or not. Ray interrupted. The fact is that someone with our faces and voices has already stood here and left those recordings. Ray scrolled through the list of messages. There were many. Dozens. In one recording, they argued. In another, they sat in silence, staring at the camera with empty eyes. In another, someone was crying. 2 phrases repeated in almost every cycle. Do not trust what you see. Do not assume the first version is truly yours. They will show you what the loop needs, not what you need. Cram tried to laugh, but it came out wrong. Or maybe this is just some twisted experiment. They show us a few psychological tricks, and we start believing we are trapped. Nobody had time to answer. The Helix communication system chimed. A new object had entered the channel. What now? Leah muttered, checking the signal. Identifier. Helix 2. We do not have a second Helix, Ray said slowly. There is only one ship in the fleet with that name. Ours. The external cameras activated automatically. On the screen, another ship approached the docking port of ARK-9. It was identical to their own. The same shape, the same markings, the same ship. Perfect, Cram said quietly. Now we not only have messages from our future selves, but also competition. The signal from it is repeating. Leah said. 1 phrase every 20 seconds. They enabled audio. A voice spoke clearly through static. Do not enter the station. Leave while you can. The voice was Ray's. That is us, Cram said. Either an earlier version or a later one. I am not sure anymore. It does not matter, Leah replied. What matters is that in at least one cycle, we tried to stop ourselves. Ray remained silent. In his mind, 2 images overlapped. The older version of himself recording the warning, and another version arriving later, broadcasting the message. Do not enter. If we leave now, Ray said slowly, we only reinforce the cycle in which we retreat. And if we stay, Leah asked, then we might give the loop something it has never seen before. Cram said, something new. For the first time since they arrived. Ray allowed himself a faint smile. All right, he said. We ignore Helix 2. We continue inside the station. But now we understand our real task. It is not only to survive. It is to do something we have never done before. They descended into the lower rings of ARK-9, where the auxiliary posts and backup laboratories were supposed to be located according to old schematics. The anomalies grew stronger there. At times, they saw a silhouette in the hallway that vanished the moment they blinked. At other times, they heard their own conversation coming from around the corner, even though they had not gone that way yet. In one compartment, they found themselves, 3 figures, frozen in place as if time had stopped mid-gesture. I remember this, Cram whispered, but only partly, like a dream you have had many times. Ray examined the frozen versions of themselves. Look closely, he said. The version of me standing over there has a band on his arm. I do not have one. So this is another cycle, Leah said, clenching her fists. Not the one we are living right now. And if we stay, Leah asked, then we might give the loop something it has never seen before. Cram said. Something new. In the back of the compartment, among cables and metal panels, they discovered another device. It was small, compact, and not marked on any of the official schematics. This is not a quantum core, Cram said. It looks more like a local stabilizer, something that balances temporal flow inside a small area. A loop stabilizer, Leah asked. Or its lock, Ray said quietly. On the surface of the device, a symbol was engraved. It was similar to the original ARK-9 mission logo, but altered. The orbit arc was broken, and the end of the line pointed upward like an arrow. What if this was never a disaster? Leah said slowly. What if the entire station was part of an experiment to control time? Then the experiment definitely failed, Cram muttered. Before they could discuss further, the Helix sensors sent a new alert. For a brief moment, space around the station lit up across all frequencies. Something is jumping in, EI reported. But the coordinates look wrong. It is like the object will appear and not appear at the same time. Ray exhaled heavily. Perfect. So besides us and one Helix from another cycle, someone else is trying to get here. Or it is us again, Cram said. But from even further along the loop, the station hummed around them. A low and constant sound that felt almost alive, as if it were listening to their conversation. In any case, Ray said, the core is the key. And this device is also a key. We cannot just leave. If we run away, someone else will come here after us and repeat the cycle again. And if we break something, Ia added, glancing toward where the core was located even though they were in a different section, we might destroy not only the loop, but also the branches where someone actually managed to escape. The silence that followed felt heavier than gravity. Then let the experiment continue, Cram said, surprising even himself with the certainty in his voice. But this time, with a variable the loop has not seen before. What variable? Leah asked. We know we are in the loop, Cram said. In earlier cycles, we did not. We have seen our future and past versions. We saw Helix to trying to stop us. We saw ourselves frozen in place. We know more than we ever knew in any previous cycle. Ray nodded slowly. Information is power, he said, especially in a system that relies on repetition and ignorance. He looked back at the stabilizer device. I suggest a compromise. We do not destroy the core, but we also do not leave everything as it is. We shift the balance. We change the loop just enough so that it does not close perfectly anymore. We do not even know how to do that, Leah said. We know one thing, Ray replied. In every cycle, we left messages, warnings, reports, instructions. We documented everything we discovered. And that is exactly what keeps the loop stable, Ray continued. We keep giving our next versions a complete map of what to expect. You're suggesting that we stop leaving instructions. Cram said slowly. I am suggesting we do something we have definitely never done before. Ray said. We stop giving the next version of ourselves a ready-made solution. Leah considered this for a moment. So instead of recording warnings, we record a question, she said. Instead of a map, we live a challenge. Exactly, Ray said. That the next version of us face the same fog of uncertainty we face now, but with slightly different conditions. And what if that only makes the trap stronger? Leah asked softly. Then, Ray said, and his expression grew firm, we will at least learn that the loop can be changed. And if it can be changed, it has a weakness. They returned to the core chamber. The recording screen activated again, ready to accept another message in the long chain of messages left by previous cycles. Ray stood in front of the camera for several seconds without speaking. He saw his reflection in the lens, slightly distorted, as if the camera already knew it would record him many times. If you are seeing this, Ray started, then stopped himself. No, that is not what we are doing anymore. He leaned closer to the camera. There are no instructions here. No answers. No warnings. We are not telling you what we did. We are not explaining what works or what does not. You will not find a survival plan in this recording. We are leaving you only one fact. The loop is not perfect. It can shift. It can change. And if it can change, so can you. Ray turned off the recording. That is it? Cram asked. No, Ray replied. Now comes the important part. He opened the core interface. I am not going to destroy it, Ray said, but I am not going to leave it untouched either. Lines of parameters and diagrams appeared on the screen. Ray changed one value, then another, very slightly, almost imperceptibly. What are you doing? Leah asked. I am shifting the synchronization phase, Ray said. Just a little. Enough so that the next cycle will not match ours perfectly. If the loop used to be a copy, now it will become a variation. Cram looked at the pulsing core. Its rhythm had changed slightly. What if this breaks everything? Cram asked. Then the next version of us will have nothing left to be afraid of, Ray said. But I do not think that will happen. I think the station has been waiting for someone to try this. Outside, floating in the silent darkness of space, Helix 2 was still visible. It did not dock. It only drifted slowly, like an insect stuck between two layers of glass in different timelines. The signal is fading, Leah said, or it is sliding into another branch. Cram replied. The hum of the station changed tone, becoming calmer and more steady. What now? Leah asked. Now we leave, Ray said. Not because someone warned us, not because the loop pushed us, but because we choose to live. They returned to the Helix. The docking clamps released smoothly, almost gently, as if the station itself allowed them to go. As the ship drifted away from ARK-9, Leah looked back one last time. For a moment, she thought she saw someone standing in one of the station windows. A figure wearing a familiar suit, with a band around the arm. That figure raised a hand. A gesture impossible to interpret clearly. It could have been a farewell, or a warning. A new signal appeared on the Helix communication panel. Just one short message from ARK-9. Cycle shifted. Cram let out a slow breath. So the experiment really continues. Yes, Ray said quietly. And next time someone comes here it will be a different story. Completely different. The Helix moved farther into the quiet cold of space. Behind them, suspended in the distorted layers of shifted time, ARK-9 remained drifting in the void. Silent. Waiting. Somewhere in one of the many possible futures, they might return. And if they did, it would not be as prisoners of the loop. It would be as people who had learned to face it on equal terms. The end. or the beginning of the next cycle.